really good example of how financially challenged they are. It's almost unheard of to buy a house in Montecito and just move into it, right? You buy a house and you do like a $7 million remodeling job, right? To make it all up to date. You don't take the sort of, we've seen the insides of the house. Yeah. It's hideous.
I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point. And the things that they're going to miss is, well, everything. I love my country. I always have.
The royal family may have just delivered one of its strongest signals to Harry and Meghan yet, and it did not take a public announcement to make it clear. Frogmore Cottage, the home Queen Elizabeth II gifted to the couple after their wedding, is reportedly being restored to its original layout and style. Every renovation, every custom detail, and every personal Sussex touch is said to be coming out, making it look like the palace is quietly closing the book on that era completely. Harry and Meghan reportedly spent about $3 million turning Frogmore into the home they wanted. The property received updated finishes, private improvements, and design choices that reflected their own taste. It was supposed to be their main royal residence, but reports say they lived there for only around 10 months before stepping away from royal duties and starting a new chapter in California. That quick turnaround still gets people talking today. Then came Spare, Harry's headline-making memoir, which sparked debate across the world. Not long afterward, King Charles asked the couple to leave Frogmore in 2023, and many royal watchers saw that move as a major statement at the time. The reaction was huge, and speculation spread fast across royal circles. Now, however, the palace does not appear to be simply moving forward. Reports suggest it is removing the Sussex version of Frogmore altogether. The cottage is reportedly set to be converted back into staff apartments, bringing the property closer to the role it originally served. That detail caught plenty of attention because the same palace staff environment Meghan reportedly found difficult may soon return to the very place that was once meant to be the couple's royal home. Harry is reportedly upset by the latest developments, and many people can understand why. After spending years speaking about reconciliation and repairing family relationships, he is now watching one of the last major physical reminders of his royal life being taken apart piece by piece. For royal watchers, it is a striking moment that carries a lot of symbolism. If there was ever any uncertainty about whether the royal family planned to bring Harry back into the fold in the same way as before, Frogmore seems to provide a quiet but powerful answer. The door does not just appear closed. The space behind it is reportedly being redesigned for an entirely different purpose. That has sparked a wave of discussion among commentators and royal fans alike. Some observers believe this move comes at a time when Harry has been looking for ways to maintain stronger ties with the United Kingdom, whether through family discussions, future visits, or a deeper connection to his roots. Yet instead of signs of a warmer relationship, the distance between both sides still appears difficult to ignore.
Hopes of Prince Harry returning to the royal family appear to be dashed. The palace was quick to shut down rumours of a royal comeback, with the king reportedly ruling out any suggestion of a part-time role for the Duke of Sussex.
That is where many see the irony. Harry stepped away seeking independence, freedom from royal obligations, and more control over his own future. Now, as he appears interested in keeping some connection to that world, the palace seems determined to show that the separation is lasting and that the decision to leave came with permanent consequences. When Prince Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal life, they made their position crystal clear. They wanted financial independence. They said they no longer wanted to rely on public funding from the United Kingdom, and that decision quickly became one of the biggest turning points in their royal story. With that choice came major changes. Once Harry stopped being a working royal, his security arrangements were reviewed and adjusted. Since then, traveling back to the United Kingdom has become one of the most talked about challenges of his post-royal life. The issue has remained a constant source of headlines and debate. Harry has repeatedly stated that he believes Britain is not safe enough for him, Meghan, and their children, without the level of protection he feels is necessary. He challenged decisions about his security arrangements through the courts, hoping for a different outcome. However, those legal efforts did not ultimately deliver the result he was seeking. Then, in January 2026, there appeared to be a surprising development. Reports suggested that the Royal and VIP Executive Committee had determined Harry met certain requirements that could support the return of armed police protection during visits to the United Kingdom. For Harry, that would likely have been seen as a significant breakthrough and a huge weight lifted from his shoulders after years of uncertainty and legal battles. After years of legal battles and public debate over security, it may have seemed like Harry was finally moving closer to the level of protection he believed was necessary. For a moment, the situation appeared to be shifting in a more positive direction for him. But the momentum did not last long. By March 2026, reports suggested that public concerns and political scrutiny had slowed progress, and by June, the issue still appeared far from resolved. What looked like a breakthrough suddenly became much less certain, keeping the debate alive and generating even more discussion. As things currently stand, many reports indicate that if Harry wants additional security during visits to the United Kingdom, he may need to cover the cost himself. That is where public opinion becomes a major factor. Many British taxpayers question whether public funds should be used for a prince who chose to step away from official royal duties. Critics often point to years of interviews, public disagreements, and criticism directed at the institution. From that perspective, some believe that independence should also mean taking responsibility for those expenses. The security debate is only one part of a much bigger picture. Public sentiment appears mixed, government officials seem cautious, and reports often suggest that family relationships remain complicated. Wherever Harry goes, headlines and debate seem to follow, creating a challenging situation for a royal family focused on stability, continuity, and maintaining public confidence. That reality may make any future return far more complex than many people expected. Even with everything that has happened, reports suggest Harry has made multiple efforts to connect with his father. He appears eager to rebuild communication or at least reopen a direct channel with King Charles. However, according to various reports, the response has not been what he was hoping for. Calls have allegedly gone unanswered, messages have reportedly received little encouragement, and instead of clear plans or positive signals, Harry is said to have encountered silence, busy schedules, and repeated indications that no meeting had been arranged. Those reports have fueled even more speculation about the current state of their relationship. Royal watchers continue to analyze every development, looking for signs that the gap between father and son might finally be narrowing. So far, however, there have been few public indications of a major breakthrough. In April 2026, when King Charles traveled to the United States during events connected to America's 250th anniversary celebrations, many observers believed the timing seemed almost perfect for a reunion.
Apparently, King Charles, because I feel even ridiculous saying this like it's fact, stopped taking Harry's calls and told the Queen, "I'm not a bank." I mean, most of this stuff I take with a grain of salt and think is utterly ridiculous. This, though, I'm inclined to believe, because who doesn't go to mum and dad as a bank? I still do, I'm 39.
The king would be in the same country, and Harry would be far closer than he normally is. For many people following the story, the symbolism practically spoke for itself. Yet, despite those circumstances, no meeting took place. That outcome surprised many royal commentators and, according to some reports, may have disappointed Harry as well. Even though the physical distance between them was much smaller than usual, the emotional distance appeared just as significant. That may be one of the strongest indications of where things currently stand. With ongoing public attention surrounding Harry and Meghan, King Charles appears cautious about becoming involved in situations that could trigger another wave of headlines. At this stage, keeping some distance may simply be the chosen approach, not because there is necessarily a lack of personal feelings, but because every meeting, every photograph, every reported detail, and every public interpretation has the potential to spark another major media frenzy. Because of all this, reports often suggest that Harry is trying to project confidence in public while dealing with disappointment behind the scenes. After all, few people would enjoy feeling shut out by their own family, especially after making repeated efforts to rebuild communication and strengthen relationships. That emotional side of the story continues to attract attention from royal watchers around the world. However, even if Harry appears interested in restoring closer ties, Meghan seems focused on a very different path. From what has been publicly reported, she does not appear eager to rebuild a long-term life in the United Kingdom. Many commentators believe that for Meghan to spend significant time in Britain again, several major concerns would need to be addressed, including security arrangements, public perception, family dynamics, and the overall environment. At the moment, those factors remain the subject of ongoing debate and uncertainty. Instead, Meghan appears concentrated on her business ventures, creative projects, and the life she has established in the United States. Her focus seems centered on the future she is building in America, while Harry is often portrayed as feeling a stronger connection to his roots. That contrast has fueled growing speculation that a full Sussex family return to the United Kingdom remains unlikely anytime soon. Reports suggest Harry may continue making individual visits to Britain throughout 2026, but unless circumstances change, he could find himself trying to reconnect with a country that no longer plays the same role in his family's plans. That possibility has become a major talking point among royal commentators. Some observers believe Harry misses certain aspects of royal life. Not necessarily the intense scrutiny, public pressure, or strict expectations, but the structure, family ties, and sense of purpose that came with being a working royal. For most of his life, he had a clearly defined role within the institution. There was a place for him, responsibilities attached to that position, and a public identity that shaped much of how the world saw him. Now, many believe he is still trying to define what that role looks like in this new chapter of his life. Now that he is no longer part of the institution, some critics argue that Harry may be discovering that freedom comes with challenges of its own. While stepping away gave him greater independence, commentators often debate whether it also meant losing some of the structure and certainty that had defined much of his life for decades. Meghan, however, appears focused on a different direction. Over the years, she has worked to build her presence in the United States through media ventures, business projects, public appearances, and causes she supports. Based on public reports, her attention seems firmly centered on expanding those opportunities and continuing the life she has created in America. That difference in focus is what many observers find so interesting. Harry is often portrayed as feeling a stronger pull toward his past and his connection to the United Kingdom, while Meghan appears more focused on future opportunities in the United States. As a result, any discussion of a potential return becomes much more complicated. At the same time, Harry's legal disputes continue to keep him in the spotlight. Court proceedings, appeals, and ongoing debates surrounding security arrangements have generated constant headlines. For some people in the United Kingdom, those developments do not look like a path toward reconciliation. Instead, they see a continued disagreement over important issues. Several appeals related to his security arrangements have faced setbacks, been rejected, or struggled to gain momentum, ensuring the debate remains far from over. Some of Harry's legal challenges reportedly did not even advance to a full hearing before being dismissed or halted. From his perspective, those setbacks may feel especially significant, given how central the security issue has become to his public life over the past several years.
Prince Harry and actor Meghan Markle, as their long-running battle for security in the United Kingdom takes a dramatic turn. Fresh reports suggest that fears of public backlash may prevent the couple from regaining taxpayer-funded protection, a development that could have serious implications for their future visits to Britain.
There was a time when Harry was widely viewed as one of the most popular members of the royal family. Many people saw him as the relatable and charismatic prince who connected easily with the public. Today, however, the conversation surrounding him appears very different, and that shift continues to attract attention from commentators and royal watchers alike. Reports suggest that nearly every effort to revisit or improve his security arrangements has faced obstacles, leaving the issue unresolved. That ongoing struggle has fueled speculation about how dramatically his situation has changed since stepping away from royal duties. For many observers, the explanation comes down to the choices and events that followed his departure from royal life. Public interviews, disagreements with the institution, his memoir, documentary projects, and continuing legal disputes have all contributed to changing perceptions. The role of public opinion is especially important because many British taxpayers believe public funding for security should primarily support royals who are actively carrying out official duties. From that viewpoint, choosing a different path also means accepting the responsibilities and limitations that come with it. Supporters and critics may disagree on the details, but the debate over independence, public support, and royal privilege remains one of the biggest issues surrounding Harry's story today. This public reaction has played a major role in shaping how many people view Harry's situation today. For some critics, the outcome feels like a direct result of the decisions he made. They point out that he chose a different path, stepped away from official royal duties, and built a life outside the institution. Because of that, they believe he should not automatically receive the same benefits associated with serving the crown. Reports and public appearances suggest that this debate continues to follow Harry wherever he goes. During visits to places such as Ukraine and other international engagements, he has pushed back against descriptions of him as a non-working royal. He has repeatedly emphasized his commitment to public service, veterans, and charitable causes, arguing that those efforts remain an important part of his life and identity. However, this is where many observers see a complicated picture. The Sussexes' activities are not limited to charitable work alone. Their public profile also includes media ventures, business partnerships, content projects, and initiatives connected to Archewell. Because of that mix, some commentators argue that the overall message can appear less straightforward. Critics often raise questions about where public service ends and commercial activity begins. They ask why humanitarian efforts sometimes appear alongside major media platforms, partnerships, and high-profile projects. Supporters see those platforms as a way to expand impact, while critics view them differently, keeping the debate alive and generating continued discussion. That ongoing debate only adds more pressure to Harry's situation. Every new discussion about security, public service, or his role outside the monarchy seems to keep him at the center of public attention. His continued emphasis on serving the public has led some observers to see a man determined to preserve a meaningful role on the world stage, even as his standing with parts of the British public remains a subject of debate. Critics argue that he appears to want some of the respect associated with a working royal, while remaining outside the traditional royal structure. Supporters, meanwhile, see him as someone trying to define a new path. Either way, it is a difficult balance to maintain. Looking ahead, Harry is expected to return to the United Kingdom for the Invictus Games in 2027, an event closely linked to one of his most recognized achievements. Reports suggest he continues to seek security arrangements that would allow him to attend with confidence and peace of mind. Whether those concerns are fully addressed could become a major talking point in the lead-up to the event. The challenge is that Invictus is widely viewed as one of Harry's most successful and respected projects. Yet, if discussions surrounding security, family tensions, and public opinion overshadow the event, what should be a celebration of veterans and resilience could once again become wrapped up in wider royal controversy and intense media attention. Based on how things currently appear, there may be very limited royal involvement in Harry's future plans involving the United Kingdom. Many royal commentators believe the palace is focused on avoiding further controversy, and keeping some distance seems to be the approach for now. After years of headlines, public disagreements, and intense media attention, the royal family appears determined to keep its focus elsewhere. From that perspective, getting closely involved with Harry could risk sparking another round of speculation, explanations, and front-page stories. As a result, observers often suggest that the palace is choosing caution over engagement, maintaining clear boundaries rather than creating new opportunities for controversy. Adding to the challenges, reports have claimed that some sponsors connected to the Invictus Games have moved on or reduced their involvement. That has attracted attention because major international events rely heavily on sponsorships, partnerships, and public support to operate successfully. any uncertainty in those areas naturally creates more pressure behind the scenes. For Harry, this could become one of the most important tests of his post-royal career. Invictus has long been viewed as one of his most respected accomplishments and remains a project that receives praise from supporters and many critics alike. If sponsorship becomes more difficult to secure and institutional support remains limited, questions could emerge about the future stability of one of his strongest public platforms. Financial considerations also remain part of the wider conversation. Maintaining a high-profile lifestyle, business ventures, security arrangements, media projects, and public initiatives requires significant resources. Every challenge can add more pressure to that balancing act. At the same time, reports continue to suggest that Harry remains eager to strengthen communication with his father. However, any claims about how other members of the royal family may respond are ultimately speculative, and there has been no official confirmation regarding future family discussions or private decisions. No matter how you look at it, many observers believe Harry is facing challenges on several fronts at the same time. Reports and commentary often suggest that he remains distant from parts of his family, less connected to the country where he spent most of his life, and still working to define what his future role should be outside the royal institution. After everything that has unfolded, some commentators believe Harry may have expected greater progress by the middle of 2026. He may have hoped family tensions would ease, security concerns would move closer to resolution, and that a clearer path for spending time in the United Kingdom would emerge. Instead, many of the same questions remain unanswered, keeping the story firmly in the spotlight. The reported distance within the family appears unchanged. Other relatives are often described as cautious, and public opinion remains deeply divided. On top of that, Frogmore Cottage, one of the last major physical links to Harry and Meghan's former royal life, is reportedly being restored and repurposed. For many royal watchers, that development carries powerful symbolism and reinforces the sense that a significant chapter has come to an end. That is why this moment feels so significant and, to many people, incredibly final. Harry wanted independence and the freedom to build a life on his own terms, but critics argue that he is now facing the consequences of that decision from multiple directions. Family distance, ongoing security disputes, sponsorship concerns, financial pressures, and the reported transformation of Frogmore Cottage have all become part of a much bigger story. For many royal watchers, it looks like one chapter is closing while another remains filled with uncertainty and unanswered questions. But what do you think? Is the royal family right to remove every last trace of Harry and Meghan from Frogmore Cottage, or has the palace gone too far? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who follow the latest royal news and drama. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one!